Hi everyone, we are starting the painting of our cardboard construction today, and I'm just going to show you a few different techniques if you want to show texture or specific kind of building materials in a very sort of impressionistic sort of way. So right here I have put in a general undercoat of white, and you can kind of see it throughout this area that I've drawn the lines for the stones. And then what I've been doing on top of that white is adding a little yellow just in some different areas, and then some brown on top of that, and I'm just doing it very loosely. So I'm not trying to be very precise because I just want to have this feeling of the stones here. Not so much, I don't really necessarily need to have everything look the same. More variation will make it look more natural. So you can try some of that if you want to, and I'm going to show you a few other techniques too. Color on top of it. So I'm going to mix some yellow and some white together. You can see my palette is way too messy right now. And I'm just going to go right back into those areas right over top of everything. And I know right now it doesn't look like much, but you're going to keep working into it until you get this, the lines are still there and you've got everything blending together. So I'm going to work a little more on that, and we'll come back and I'll show you how it looks. So what I've done now is we had a lot of black there, so I had to pull a lot of the black up, and you can kind of see that there's a green underneath of that color now. So we've got two layers, one of the yellowish sort of orange color, then the second one with the black and yellow, and now I've put another coat of this lighter sort of orange color on top of it, and that's what I'm going to use. Now I'm just using my fingernail here, but you can I'm sure you guys don't want to get messy like me. You can get a rag and then put it around your finger and then just pull across. And you can see that it's making this grain in it that looks a lot like wood. So that is a really good technique if you're trying to get a feeling of a wood grain. Now the one thing about this is that everything has to be, all the paint layers that you just did have to be wet for you to be able to do that effectively. And after you've done it, if you still feel like, okay, it needs a few more lines that show the wood grain, you can just go back and get a smaller brush and very carefully draw in a few more dark lines. Now here I'm using brown. And pull it up one more time, just a little bit. And you, like I just said before, you always want to go in the same direction. So that's a really nice way that you can I don't think it looks as effective as I want it to yet. I'm still going to work on it. But you can make it really start to look like it's wood. So we've got that section of wood, a little bit of our blurry here now, stonework. So I'm going to work a little more on that. And then I'm also going to show you some of the tiles for the top of the roof. So here we have my stones, which I took some of that dark black that Greta added to here, and then just took some more white and gray, put that over top of this section in little brush strokes, just choop, 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 just like that. And then the wood section here, I'm still not crazy about it because it got so black underneath, but it's okay. So it does have those nice lines in it now that kind of show you the wood grain. And, you know, it's easy for me to pull up a few more, so I might do some of that. And then this is just Greta's technique up here. And then this one I did with contrasting colors. So I just want you to see how that looks. We put up a sort of purplish orange underneath, and then a light blue with white on top in dots, and it made a nice textural feeling to that particular tower. The next thing I'm doing is working on this front section where I've got overhanging tiles, so I'm going to work a bit on that. I've just got my underpainting that's orangish red, and I'm going to put a highlight color on top of those. So here I've started to work on these tiles, and all I've done so far is put the red, the orangish red underneath, and then I'm putting a bit of white with yellow right here with my brush right on top of that. So I'm just kind of blending the red that I have there, the orangish red, with this yellow, and it's going to make this impression of the tiles on this roof. So I mean, that's the idea. You don't need, you know, you're gonna have so many little details, I don't know if you're like me, that you would want to kind of make everything have this impressionistic feeling, not necessarily super specific. I'm going to work more on this. I'm just showing you a few different ways that you can do it. The other thing that you can do is, you know, if you have something like this where you're kind of showing the dimension of something, and I'm assuming that you already have these lines of that you drew underneath, you can also create a shadow. So I'm going to show you that too. Now to create a shadow, you want to use a small brush, and you're just going to make a line that's going to be on the underneath side of, you know, if you're imagining this is a tile, it would stick up a bit on, that's where the light would hit it, and then there would be the shadow kind of underneath and below if the sun was above it. So anywhere where you have stones that would, you know, hypothetically be sticking out, or tiles like this, you would put a bit of shadow shading underneath that. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then I'll show you how it looks. I am guessing that you're going to have an easier time than I am, because the one issue I'm having is that I have tape here, and because I don't have acrylic tape paint, I have tempera. It's beating up a bit, but you can see here, this is where I've put shadows, and then this is my top sort of lighter area of my tiles, and you can really see how it's starting to look more dimensional in there. And that's one way that you can show the texture of like a roof with tiles or anything like that. You can also do the same kind of thing if you're doing stones. You can kind of see that I've been doing that here, but I could put more black on the underside of each one of those shapes of circles. I'm gonna do a bit more just on my own, and those are my main techniques I wanted to show you. And I'm going to assume that you can, you can paint these any way you want to. So it doesn't have to be really realistic. It doesn't need to be specific building materials like mine is looking like. You could do something thematic on the outside of yours. You could, you could put creatures, paint creatures or things on the outside, objects. These are your creations, so I'm sure that you have some great ideas of your own, and these are just some techniques if you are looking to look, make something to look more like a building material. Okay, everyone, I'm going to work a little bit more on this just on my own, and we'll come back so I can show you the finished piece. So here is my very expressionistic castle. You can see that I've, I can kind of turn my chair here. You can see that I've defined some of my stonework a little bit more in here. I have gone around some of my details in there. I'm going to go back in and paint above my doors in here, and actually once everything is dry I'll probably go back in with some markers just to get some of the really sharp details a little bit better in here, but I'm pretty happy with how it's looking. I am super excited to see how your constructions turn out, so just like I always say, please email me photos of your constructions. And I was excited to see that some people are making castles as well. Also, we've got some animal homes. A few people are making pet houses for their constructions. And I've also got a few people doing vehicles and things like that. So it's all great. Hope that you all enjoyed this painting step. It was a lot of fun for me. I really like to try out things with paint. And I am excited to see how yours turn out. So I will look forward to seeing those pictures, everyone, and I will talk again to you soon. Bye-bye.